Hey everyone. So many of you know that we've been working on a project at Make It called RATT, which stands for RFID All the Things. We've been working on that for a couple of years now, and we're finally at a point as of early 2019 where we're installing it on equipment at the space. So this video is to show you how RATT works on the big laser cutter, which is also known as the rabbit laser. It's a little bit different from the old system in that RATT is always powered on, and it knows when you turn the laser cutter power on and off. Now, the RATT screen will normally show an idle loop, which will either tell you that the machine's powered off, or it will invite you to scan your RFID fob when the machine's powered up. And as you can see, the idle loop changes when I power up the laser cutter, and it says to scan my fob below. The actual reader is located underneath the engraving text at the bottom that says RFID. It's kind of underneath those wavy lines on the right. If you use the laser cutter often, you know that recently Brad added some hardware to remind you to home the XY gantry before you can use the machine. And we built that same feature into RATT so that it works in a very similar way. It reminds you when you log in that you have to home it, and it won't let you use the machine until you do. While we don't have Brad's fancy flashing police lights, we do have a soothing robotic voice to remind you.
Please home the laser gantry by pressing XY0 to continue.
And since angering robots is never a good idea, we'll do that homing procedure now. So you can see I just hit the XY0 button, and the gantry moves back for the Y, and the head comes over for the X. And as soon as the X touches off, RATT realizes that it's been homed, and you're ready to use the machine. And here's me just running a quick sample laser cut. You just hit start like you normally would, and the screen will show in green at the bottom, active, when it's actually cutting. You can see the lasers cutting over there. And you can pause it just as you normally could. RATT doesn't realize that you've stopped the cut. It still thinks it's active because the signal we get is actually that the program is still running. So you just hit start and your cut will continue as normal. You can see that it's still showing active here on the RATT. You can't log out when the cut is active. You have to actually stop the machine. So you see stop, the display goes back to an idle display and counts down. You have basically 10 minutes of time where you're not cutting, or else RATT will auto log you out. Or you can hit the yellow button, as I just did here, and log yourself out when you're all done. And as before, you should shut the machine off when you're all done. And you can see that the idle loop of RATT has gone back and says that the laser is powered off. Now let's say you're a little bit distracted or something and you accidentally start the job before you've actually homed the gantry. So if it's asking you to home and you hit start on the laser, it will actually yell at you. It won't let you do that. You've angered the robots, tells you you have to home, and logs you back out. So you have to re-badge in and try again. So what about using the rotary tool, you ask? Well, we've got you covered there. You hook it up just as normal. When the machine's powered off, you plug in the cable inside, and you power up the machine just as you'd expect. You see that the idle loop says that you can badge in, so you badge in. And instead of telling you that you have to home the machine like you do under normal circumstances, we recognize that the rotary attachment has been plugged in, and we allow you to do a override so you don't have to do that homing procedure because you can't. It's not possible to do it when the rotary attachment is plugged in. You can see that when you jog the Y-axis now, the rotary is moving, and X works as normal. So you just proceed as you would. You don't have to do anything like trip the switches with a stick or anything like that. RATT has you covered for this. Now it's only critical to do that gantry homing every time the machine has been powered up. Once it's been powered up, as long as you haven't crashed the head, it retains that homing information. So RATT is smart enough to know that you haven't shut the machine off, so you can log out and not turn the laser cutter off, and then when you log in again, or another person comes along and logs in, they won't have to go through that homing process. This is mostly useful for you in a single session. If you get idle timed out because you're working on the computer or something else and not actively cutting, you won't have to go through that procedure every single time. RATT will know that you've already homed it since it's been turned on, and you can proceed as normal. It's a little bit of a time saver and a frustration saver. RATT has another cool trick up its sleeve. You can actually report problems to the resource manager from RATT. So while RATT is in the idle loop, you hold down the yellow button, and you're given a list of potential issues that you can report to the resource manager. So you scroll up and down through those with the gray buttons, and when you find the one that you want to report, you hit the blue button. And once you've done that, it asks you to badge in so that it can associate your name with that issue report and somebody can get back to you. So that's about it. It's fairly easy to use and self-explanatory. That being said, it is brand new hardware and software. We've been doing a lot of testing on it, but there could still be problems. So if you run into anything, please get in touch with us on Slack. The best place is either the Laser Cutter resource channel or in help. And I will get back to you, or Adam Try will get back to you. And we can get you squared away and moving forward with your projects. So thanks a lot, and keep a lookout for some future RATT updates coming very soon.